Hello, everyone. It's another week. Yeah, it's just another week. It's another edition of Travel the World as a Speaker. I am your host, Phylecia Jones, and today we're going to talk one of my favorite subjects, money. We're going to talk about managing your business finances as a business owner, as a speaker, because we got to talk about these things. Hey, These Three Things podcast, how are you doing? I know it's a tongue twister. How are you doing? Because today we're definitely going to be talking about this, okay? I have to tell you about an experience. So I started off in business as a money coach. And recently I just did a consulting session. I don't do as much money coaching now, but there was something so very shocking that happened with this person who had paid thousands of dollars to work with someone, and they didn't tell them the basics around money management, especially as a business owner. So I know it's going to be a big tease, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you some of the basics around it. Also, for those of you who are just joining us, this is iFind, You Close. This is where we bring you this show. So if you are interested in getting some help marketing your business through public speaking, you can come check us out at ifindyouclose.com. What we do, we go out and do the research and we find speaking opportunities for you. So to let you know what's going on right now, we just posted our new speaking opportunities today. Like I do it every Monday, and it's all women empowerment. So if I did some research, and quite a few of these events are targeting women empowerment. So anything around business, education, podcasting, health and wellness, career, anything that will target women from entrepreneurship to career growth. There's some events in there for you. I'm just telling you, there's some events. Some are virtual, some are going to be live. They're going to be good. Now, the only catch is because of how things are going, I'm going to have to talk about what's going on in the world of speaking. The deadlines are really, really quick. So you're going to have to jump on these like now if you want to get some of these events. So the deadlines are going to end like within the next few days. So for those of you, if women empowerment is your target audience, definitely go check us out at ifindyouclose.com. All right. And also for what we do here, I tell you a little bit of a travel story, and then we get into our topic of the day. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to really give you a travel story today, because I think what we're going to talk about is going to be so important when it comes around finances. But I can give you some little glimpses of when I do travel. Trying to figure out, should you take cash? Should you use credit cards? And I will say the last few times that we've traveled in Europe, it was just so fascinating. You can tell a lot of these places have gone cashless, because when we show up, of course we exchange some money at the airport. And of course, when we show up with some cash, they're like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, they just kind of stare at you. I think one guy like huffed and puffed and walked away trying to figure out what to do with our cash. So what I've learned is that you got to be ready for everything. And now, since I have my little smartwatch, I pay for that. And I only get a little bit of money out when when I go to a different country. And sometimes I just go to the ATM and just pull out just a little bit of money. In most places you don't need it, but here in the United States, there are some cities where you still have to operate in cash. So just kind of do your research before you go. But it is hilarious just trying to go to all these different places and seeing who uses cash, who uses credit card. And one of the biggest annoyances is that we don't do chip and pin. We don't do chip and pin here. We still do chip and signature. So they are really annoyed with you when you go out of the country, because they got to go find an ink pen. So take an ink pen with you, because of how we do our credit cards here. All right, so let's go ahead and talk money. All right. Managing your business finances. So for those of you who are using public speaking to travel the world, grow your business, grow your authority, there are some basics around money that you need to have taken care of first. Okay. I actually just did a consulting session with a business owner, and come to find out, she had paid thousands of dollars for coaching, but they didn't give her the basics, like creating an LLC, separating her personal from her business finances, getting her EIN, and showing and telling her that she needed a way to manage her finances. Now, I've been around, I've done a lot of business coaching, and I've had coaches, and I have not been a business coach, but I will say I am definitely in the financial world. When I started off as a money coach, as a budgetologist, and I got to tell you, I don't care what you're doing. If you are going to be pursuing more speaking, and for those of you who are podcasters, you need to form a business around it, because you need to start managing the money around it. So here's the first thing that I want you to do. If you have not gotten an LLC for your business, especially for my solo business owners, especially if you're a speaker, form an LLC. You don't need to do incorporations yet. That requires a few more things, but I want you to go and look at what it will take in your state to form an LLC, a sole proprietor LLC, or it can be single member LLC, however they word it. I want you to go do the research. Remember, you need to be a student of what you are doing, and you need to know what's going on. Hey, Vernon, how you doing? How you doing? We're talking about money, and how, unfortunately, somebody I coached, consulted with, I wasn't really coaching, consulted with, spent thousands of dollars on business coaching, and they didn't even tell them some basic things around managing your finances. So one of the first things I want you to do, if you don't have this, go and form an LLC around your speaking, your podcasting, whatever it is that you're doing. Because what I want you to do is start being able to separate your business and personal finances so you can see what's going on. Way too many of us are not doing this, and we keep pulling money out of our checking account. And when you come to me, especially if you want to do money coaching, I'm going to start asking you, how much did you spend? How much are your expenses? How much is this? What does your P&L look like? And, and when you give me like deer in headlights and you're a business owner, I'm going to like kind of look straight back at you. Okay. So get your LLC. Okay. And what I want you to do after that is go to the bank. Now you can get an EIN. It is not extremely necessary for you. You can still use your social security number when you're filing taxes. I highly recommend getting an EIN and stop using your social security number. That is my recommendation. It's absolutely free. You can go to irs.gov to get an EIN. For your LLC, you need to go to your state. It'll cost you about $10. I know you don't have to pay a lawyer to do all this stuff, about $10. And yes, Vernon, I am trying to slap them into shape, because I was just, you have no idea. I was heated last week when I had to do this. All right. So for your LLC, go to your state and figure out how much it's going to cost. Follow the rules. Usually it's under your labor. I forget. You can figure it out. Just type in for your state, okay? For your EIN, irs.gov if you are in the United States. I don't know how other countries operate, so you'll have to go get educated in your other country, okay? That's step number one. Number two, once you have acquired your LLC, your EIN, all of that stuff, and the EIN is not necessary for this, I want you to go to the bank and open up a business checking account. I highly recommend going with your local credit union. You can typically get free accounts. They have no questions. It's just easier to go with your credit union. Vernon is saying is usually your Secretary of State, where you go and file for business licenses and things like that. Okay, so go check out your Secretary of State in the state that you live in. So now that you have that LLC, and trust me, it takes what? Like an hour to do it. I mean, I got accountability from the person that I consulted, and like within an hour she had it all done. Both of these things, okay? It doesn't take long. You don't have to pay $500 for an attorney, okay? Just go do it. Don't be that lazy. All right. Open up that business checking account. All you need is that LLC. Go to your local credit union. That's what I recommend, because you can typically get free. Some of the bigger banks, they will charge you money and they'll want like minimums in the account. Don't do that. Okay. Because what we have to start doing now is separating that business finances from that personal. I want you to stop bleeding money out of your personal account, especially if you're going to be doing speaking. You got to start moving this money somewhere else, so that we can be very clear. We got to like divide and conquer. Okay. Divide church and state when it comes to finances. All right. Because if you don't know what's going on, you will slowly keep going broke, period. And if somebody like me comes in and asks you, how much, what are your average monthly expenses? How much revenue are you bringing in? And you have to look around and start hitting all the papers, looking for like the little number you wrote. That is the problem. You need to be able, to run a profit and loss statement. And now here's step number 3, a profit and loss statement. I need you to stop being cheap and get some and sign up for financial software accounting. Okay. I recommend FreshBooks. It's what I like. I find it easy. I have used QuickBooks Online. I was old school back in the day, in the dinosaur era, whereas QuickBooks just on your desktop. QuickBooks, blah, blah, blah. We were looking at it last week. I recommend using FreshBooks. It's simple. And the reason why I like FreshBooks is if you are running invoices, I want you to be able to run invoices out of your software so that when people pay you, boom, it's just magically there. It's easily tracked. And what was happening with the person I was consulting with is, like I said, has paid thousands of dollars for business coaching. And just some of this basic stuff was really annoying for me because like you paid somebody that much money, like you didn't pay me that much money, like, geez. And I could have had you knock this done in like an hour, But what really needs to start happening, especially if you are going to invoice people for speaking, if you're going to sell products when you're out there speaking, even for your podcast, you got to be able to keep up with everything. You got to keep up with everything. And I'm one of those. If you ever do any type of consulting with me, I will ask you, how much money are you making? And when you say, well, kind of around about, no, that's not good enough. I usually stop every conversation until you go find the exact numbers. Because if I don't know, if you don't know what's going on, I don't know what's going on. And so I like exact numbers. I want to know down to the nth degree, like what is going on with your finances, because that will help me determine where you need to go when it comes to public speaking. Like some of you, I will tell you, look, you're only going to do like 2 pro bono events a year, and we're going to make it worth it because now we got to figure out the budget for it. Okay. This is why I want you to start managing your finances properly, which is some of this basic stuff. And I think next week, I think I have it on the schedule. We're going to talk about using FreshBooks. So I'll give you a kind of a behind the scenes of what it looks like and what it could do for you. Okay. Now, if you got any questions, just let me know. Okay. Put them in the comment box. But what I really want you to do first, if you don't have an LLC, you need to go get it. I promise you, if you get a glass of wine, you can have it done within an hour. You don't even have to have wine with it. You can drink water. Okay. Get your EIN. I highly recommend getting an EIN. You don't necessarily need it if you are a solo, but you should do it. Okay. I guess that's two. I consider those like the same thing. So EIN, LLC, knock those out like tonight, like seriously tonight. Pay the $10. Don't be cheap. Then I want you to go and open up that business checking account. That's all I need you to do, because now I want, if you need to fund that checking account with like some money from your personal, I need you to figure out how much you're going to fund it. If it's going to be 1,000, if it's going to be 5, put it over there, because that's all you got to work with until you start making money. What I don't want you to do is keep pulling money out of your personal account. Okay. If you have other people in your household, they start getting mad when there ain't no money. Who knew? So make sure you start doing that. And then the third thing I want you to do is get some accounting software. And the reason why, like I said, I want you to be able to pull in this profit and loss statement. I want you to be able to run invoices out of it. If you're using Stripe and if you're using PayPal, I want all of that stuff to be consolidated in one place, because when it comes to this business finances, sometimes we don't have time to figure out, let me go figure out what my budget is. So what I don't want you to do is manage your business finances probably how you manage your personal. I know that sucks that I said that out loud, but that's what's happening with a lot of business owners. And so when things happen again, like if we have a pandemic again and you want to sign up for a PPP loan or an EIDL, guess what? You are already in place. And yes, for those of you who are podcasters, if you have formed a business around your podcast, you probably could have got some PPP money. And the reason why a lot of us didn't get any extra money is because a lot of us weren't prepared. Okay. So this is why I want you to take some of these basic steps. Okay. Very, very basic steps when it comes to managing your finances. Now, if you go and do that, if you need help, just let me know. You can slide up in the DM and just let me know if you get help. But I just want you to at least start with those basic things. And I think every Monday we're going to get back into talking about money again, because, you know, it's so interesting that after so many years of doing this, you assume everybody's on the same page. And what I realize is that we are all not on the same page when it comes to managing our finances as business owners. And the other thing that I want you to stop doing, stop using PayPal Me for business transactions. Yeah, just stop. I want you to start invoicing people, because that helps to know how much money, how many invoices you got out and how much money you need to be bringing in, so that you can bring in a friend and start calling folks like, hey, you need to pay me. All right. We need to start getting more legitimate and stop acting like we are like doing some under the table work. Now, if you want to do under the table, knock yourself out, but don't be surprised when you end up as being audited. And the other reason I want to tell you this is, and this comes from the world of network marketing and MLMs. When you start your business and you're running it, you know, and you're still doing your Schedule C and filing your taxes, but you have not separated church and state when it comes to your business finances, it will come back and bite you in the butt if you're going to, when it comes to being audited. And I have to tell you, the moment that you start a business and you start doing write-offs, because everybody thinks we can write off all the world, which you can, but remember, you have just stepped into the world of potentially being audited. You are probably target number one for being audited. And what happens a lot, especially for my network marketers, for people who are just kind of side hustling businesses, when you get audited, because, and the reason why it takes so long is because nobody has separated their money. Nobody knows where anything is. So now you got to go back over the last year or two trying to figure out all of your transactions. So what I would prefer, my recommendation is to get ahead of this. Of course, I don't want you to get audited, but I want you to be legitimate with what you're doing. But I just want you to be careful, because when you start bringing in money, especially if you're speaking and you start getting paid $3,000 and $5,000 and $8,000, you need to be able to track every last dime of it. And I know it may seem like you know what your revenue is, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people have no idea how much money they made in the last year or in the last month. Okay. And this is what we need to stop doing. And Vernon is saying that he has been there, lost that, never again. Yeah, I have not been audited. Let's knock on some wood and all the things. But I think one of the biggest things is you have to be prepared when it comes in, so that you don't have to sit there and try to figure this stuff out. Now, here's the deal. It is March. Tomorrow's my birthday. Yay! So for my birthday, here's what I want you to do. Get your money in order. That's it. It's March. Right now, you have time to go back and start reconciling everything you've done from January until now. If you have not, do it now, okay? If you haven't done 2020, I recommend sitting down and doing 2020. It's going to be painful, but just do it. But at the least, get this year going, because I've had to go back and reconcile like a couple of years. It ain't fun. Trust me, it's a long, long weekend, and I prefer that you do it now instead of waiting until December to figure out what you're doing. Hey, These Three Things podcast. Thank you so very much for the birthday wishes. So I just want you to get your finances in order. Oh, for the love of all that's holy, please don't end up spending so much money when you could have just taken some very basic steps just to prepare yourself. So let's start there. All right, I'm off my soapbox. That was 18 minutes and 46 seconds of me just yelling at you. I know. But I get a little heated when you start talking about money. And I watched that show, Marriage or Mortgage. I don't know. I was having heart palpitations watching that show. If you've seen it, let me know. All right, that's all I have for you. Be sure to go update your finances. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself on the right side of your money. If you need help with this, just slide into my DM, add a comment or anything like that, and we can figure out what's the best way for us. You know, if it's a simple question, I can answer it here. If it's more complex, then we'll get on the phone or something like that. But I just want to make sure that you at least in this first quarter, just doing right by your money, okay? Trust me, it'll bite you in the butt later on if you don't. All right, so that's all I have for you. So thank you Thank you so very much, Sharana. Thanks so very much, Vernon, for hanging out with me, letting me get on my soapbox. Y'all have an amazing evening. I'm officially shutting down as of now. I gotta go fix dinner. I'm gonna shut down and just enjoy tomorrow and eat more brownies and then go on a diet or something like that. So take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. All right, for everybody here on YouTube, you know I appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow. You have an amazing evening. Bye.